Good evening and welcome to Money Borders News. We begin with a high-stakes move in American politics. Former President Barack Obama took to the stage this Saturday in an attempt to counter a surprising Republican surge in New Jersey. We now turn to our colleague, Esther Quezada, who has the latest details.
Indeed, Charlotte. In a charged political climate, Obama delivered a sharp critique of the Trump White House, accusing it of a daily, fresh batch of lawlessness and mean-spiritedness, significantly raising the stakes just days before the election. Strategically, this move deploys the party's top talent. Obama's involvement underscores the urgency Democrats feel about holding a state they cannot afford to lose. Let's take a look at Obama's speech. These were direct and forceful remarks. Obama's decision to engage so pointedly signals Democratic concerns about the surging GOP candidate, Jack Ciattarelli.
Thank you. All right. Man, I'm fired up too. I am definitely ready to go. It is good to be back in Virginia. It's good to be back in Norfolk. The last time I campaigned, in Hampton Roads, I was running for re-election. And I know I have not aged a bit. It is an issue. You've been around a long time when you're in a photo line and some tall guy, with a beard comes up and you're taking a picture. What's your name? And then pulls out. He says, "This picture I want to show you. This is you holding me as a baby." And you're all, "Oh man, really? I'm old." But I am here today for a very important reason. I am here to ask you to vote for the next governor of Virginia, Abigail Spanberger. If you have not voted yet, make a plan to vote on Election Day, November 4th. Just visit abigailspanberger.com/vote. You can find out where to vote. You can also find a drop box for your mail ballot. And then you've got to get all your friends and your family to make a plan to vote. Because in 3 days, just 3, no more than 3, just 3. In 3 days, we have a chance to elect a leader who will help build a better, stronger, brighter future for Virginia. Si se puede. And Lord knows we need that light. We need that inspiration. Because let's face it, our country and our politics are in a pretty dark place right now. It's hard to know where to start. Because every day, this White House offers up a fresh batch of lawlessness and recklessness and mean-spiritedness and just plain craziness? We got a president who thinks it's okay to use the Justice Department to go after his political opponents. Hey, wait, don't boo. Vote. They don't hear boos, they hear votes. So we've got a president who replaces career prosecutors with loyalists who will do what he wants, and now he's telling them what he wants is for them to hand over millions of taxpayer dollars that he had to pay in expenses for previously violating the law. We've got a commander-in-chief who fires decorated officers because he thinks they might be more loyal to the Constitution than they are to him. He's deploying the National Guard in American cities, claiming to stop crime waves that don't actually exist. We've got masked ICE agents pulling up in unmarked vans and grabbing people, including U.S. citizens, off the streets on the suspicion that they don't look like real Americans. We've got an HHS secretary who opposes proven science and promotes quack medicine. A top White House aide who calls Democrats, the whole party, domestic extremists. We've got some poor labor economists who got fired for accurately reporting bad jobs numbers that the president didn't like. I mean, it's like every day is Halloween. Except it's all tricks and no treats. And here's the thing. It's not as if we didn't see some of this coming. I will admit it's worse than even I expected, but I did warn y'all. I did. You can run the tape. And by the way, he warned you too, because he said what he was going to do. But the fact is, there were plenty of people who voted for Trump and the Republicans anyway. And it wasn't because they wanted to give up the right to free speech or see our public health systems torn down, but because they were understandably frustrated with inflation and gas prices and the difficulty of affording a home and worries about their children's future, and so they were willing to take a chance. Now, 9 months later, you got to ask yourself, has any of that gotten better? Is the economy working better for you? Because it sure has gotten better for Trump and his family. You know, since he's been in office, the whole crypto business and other ventures have made hundreds of millions of dollars, including from foreign nationals and rich folks investing because they want to stay in the president's good graces. The economy has been really good for some of Trump's billionaire pals and for finance bros and well-connected corporations who've seen their tax bills go down and don't have to worry about all these pesky regulators anymore. But for ordinary families, costs haven't gone down, they've gone up, partly thanks to this shambolic tariff policy. Young people trying to get a start in life are having a tougher time than ever finding a job. Entry-level hiring is down 16% from last year. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees, including a lot of people here in Virginia, have lost their jobs to pay for those billionaire tax cuts. We're talking about people who have dedicated their lives to public service, who make the country work. Healthcare premiums for millions of people are about to double. or even triple next year. Meanwhile, the government is shut down, and the Republicans who currently are in charge of Congress, they're not even pretending to solve the problem. They have not even been showing up to work. Not in session. Where are you? What are you doing? And as for the president, he has been focused on critical issues like paving over the Rose Garden so folks don't get mud on their shoes, and gold plating the Oval Office and building a $300 million ballroom. So Virginia, here's the good news. If you can't visit a doctor, don't worry. He will save you a dance. And if you don't get an invitation to the next White House shindig, you can always watch the festivities and all the beautiful people on Truth Social. The point is, there is absolutely no evidence Republican policies have made life better for you, the people of Virginia. I mean, they've devoted enormous energy in trying to entrench themselves in power and punishing their enemies and enriching their friends and silencing their critics. They put on a big show of deporting people and targeting transgender folks. They never miss a chance to scapegoat minorities and DEI for every problem under the sun. You got a flat tire? DEI. Huh. Wife mad at you? DEI. What they have not devoted energy to is helping you. They have not put forward serious proposals to lower housing costs or make groceries more affordable. They haven't improved our schools. They haven't made health care more accessible. They haven't shortened your commute or prepared young people for the future where AI might take their job. And all the nonsense we see on the news every day, the over-the-top rhetoric, the fabricated conspiracies, the weird videos of a U.S. president with a crown on his head flying a fighter jet and dumping poop on protesting citizens. All of that is designed to distract you from the fact that your situation has not gotten better. They do it so you won't notice that while they're helping the wealthiest, most powerful people in the country consolidate more wealth and more power, your bills are still going up. And you're waiting longer at airports because there aren't enough air traffic controllers. And the program helping your kid with special needs was just gutted. So that is what's happening. And the good news is there's something you can do about it. Right here, right now. Because you've got a candidate for governor who's got a track record of getting stuff done. Somebody who sees you and has been with you and knows your struggles and will fight for you every single day. Virginia, it's time to point America in a better direction by electing Abigail Spanberger as your next governor. Now, listen, Abigail doesn't go around bragging about herself all the time, talking about how I'm great. But she's great. As a former federal law enforcement officer, as a CIA case officer working on counterterrorism, she knows what it takes to keep communities safe. As the mom of 3 kids in Virginia public schools, You know she cares about helping every child and helping every teacher succeed. As a member of Congress, she was a workhorse, not a show horse, fighting to lower prescription drug costs, giving veterans the support they deserve. Abigail does not just say the right thing. As your governor, she will do the right thing. She understands the government can make a difference in people's lives by educating our kids for the jobs of the future, keeping our air and water clean, protecting consumers from fraud, future, keeping our air and water clean, protecting consumers from fraud and dangerous products, providing a safety net for seniors and folks with disabilities, investing in the infrastructure and scientific research that drives economic growth. But Abby also knows that good intentions aren't enough. She understands that we can't afford to waste taxpayer dollars on programs that don't work. And she understands that instead of just trying to tear government down, it's her job to make it work better. So Abigail has real, practical plans to grow the economy and strengthen Virginia's schools and lower the cost of everything from housing to health care to energy. And she is willing to reach across the aisle to make it happen. She has shown that she can do it. Abigail is ranked as the most bipartisan member of Congress from the Commonwealth. She's had bills signed into law by both President Trump and President Biden. That is not easy to do. And Abigail doesn't just believe in working with everybody, she also believes, and this is really important, in listening to everybody, whether they voted for her or not. Because she knows that if we want to make progress on the things that we care about, we have to be able to disagree without calling each other nasty names or demonizing each other. So at a time when our politics feels broken, we need desperately leaders like Abigail, public servants who are in it for the right reasons and are focused on the future, and who will always stay connected to the people they were elected to serve. Now, her opponent, not so much. When someone asked her, and I'm just following this from a distance, when someone asked her apparently about all the federal workers fired by this administration, given how important that is to Virginia, apparently Abigail's opponent said she wanted to talk about real issues. Didn't understand why these job cuts are, quote, a huge thing. Now, I don't know about you, but seeing your neighbors and your friends, your customers, maybe some of your family members suddenly out of work, even though they've dedicated their lives to serving people, having trouble making their mortgage, maybe it's just me. Seems like a pretty big thing to me, pretty huge. And I'd want a governor to be paying attention to it. Abigail's opponent does seem to care a lot about what Trump and his cronies are doing. And she's praised the Republican tax law that would raise the cost of health care and housing and energy here in Virginia. She supported bills that would strip funding from Virginia public schools. She says she's morally opposed to protecting reproductive rights, says she will do everything in her power to cut off access to abortion. Virginia, you don't need a governor who puts party and ideology ahead of the people she was elected to serve. You deserve a governor who will think for herself and work for you. A governor who will create jobs and not cut them, and who will lower costs instead of raising them, and who will bring people together instead of dividing them, and who will do what's right for the people of Virginia, no matter what anybody in Washington thinks. You deserve a governor like Abigail Spanberger. Because I'm going to bring it down here for a second. Because at the end of the day, what this election's about, what politics in a democracy is always about, is values. What do we care about? What do we believe? What do we prioritize? What are our core convictions? You know, a lot of people have asked me lately whether I'm surprised by the direction the country's taken. And even though I am the hope and change guy, I try to be honest with them. So I say, yes, there are things I am worried about. I am worried about how quickly basic democratic rules and norms have been weakened. I'm worried about how willing Republicans in Congress have been to surrender their role as members of a co-equal branch of government, refusing to buck the president even when they know he's out of line. Even when a lot of them will privately admit that power is being abused in ways that will hurt their constituents and hurt the country. I worry about a Supreme Court that, so far at least, has shown no willingness to check this administration's excesses, even when those actions break legal precedent and seem to defy the bedrock principle that no one is above the law. I worry about the growing concentration of economic power in this country, with just a handful of mega billionaires and companies controlling what we see and what we hear. And I worry about how much that economic power distorts the political process. I worry about how readily not just business leaders, but others with influence in law firms and universities have been willing to bend the knee to this president's autocratic impulses to avoid retribution or protect profits or simply to avoid controversy. And I worry sometimes how we've come to accept this as normal. But what I also tell people when they ask me about this, what I also try to remind them, is that America's always had competing stories about who we are and what this nation stands for. The first story says, we the people, just means some of us. That in order to qualify, you have to be the right color, or come from the right family, or worship in the right way, or have enough money. It says that even though we got rid of a king, there's still a caste system in America, a pecking order of who makes decisions and who obeys, who gets opportunity and who is obliged to serve. And it's a story that's policed by fear and force, that tries to convince people that for their group to win, another group has to lose. that if somebody doesn't look like you or think like you or practice religion exactly the same way you do, they must be a threat to your way of life, and they need to be put in their place. And that's how Donald Trump thinks about America. Make America great again by putting the people like him back in charge, even if they don't know what the hell they're doing. Now, but here's the thing. That story is not new. That's the oldest story in the book. It's not even uniquely American. For most of human history, that's the way society's worked. There was somebody on top and somebody on the bottom. There were lords and there were peasants. And for a long time, that story of caste and privilege and concentrated power, that was the law of the land here in America. If you looked like me, you were likely treated as property. If you were a woman or a white man who did not own property, you could not vote. For a long time, if you were an Irish or Italian immigrant, we're not hiring. If you're Jewish or Asian, don't bother applying to our school. If you were Native American, you weren't even treated as an American, even though you were here. But from the very start, there was another story, born of this nation's true revolutionary spirit. A story that says we the people means what it says, that all of us are included, that we are not subjects, we are citizens, defined not by race or religion or gender or sexual orientation, but by our commitment to a common creed and a willingness to accept not just the privileges, but the responsibilities that come with that citizenship.
Charlotte, that's my report. We'll continue to follow the story. Now, back to the studio.
Thank you for that report, Esther. Certainly, and while the White House has not officially responded to these comments, Trump allies on social media have already dismissed the speech as a boring sermon from the old guard. This battle will undoubtedly continue right up to Election Day. Stay subscribed, we'll keep you informed.